In today's video, we will be talking about the foundation and mainstay of vestibular rehab. If you haven't tried these exercises, you may have not done vestibular therapy. We will discuss the 4 most important exercises that you should be doing and exactly what the evidence says behind those exercises and how you should be doing them. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amy McMillan. I am a mobile vestibular therapist in Northeast Ohio, and I have this channel to help other people at home who may not be able to have access to a vestibular therapist to have tips and tricks to treat their dizziness at home. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and share so we can keep growing this content and channel together. With that, let's get started on our vestibular exercises. If you suffer from dizziness, you've likely heard of gaze stability exercises, but what are they? Gaze stability is the function of your inner ear nerve to make sure that your eyes stay on a target even though your head is moving. These exercises were developed on the concept of VOR, or vestibular ocular reflex, the ability of the eyes to stay on a target even when your head is moving. So the goal of gaze stability exercises are to get a retinal slip. And that means that when you move your head, your eyes pop off for just a second. The brain recognizes that, tells the inner ear nerve to give a message faster, and that the eyes should move in response, quicker to stay on a target. So what exercises should you be doing? We are going to go through a demonstration of each one. So VOR near, you are going to take a stick, a little tongue depressor, a pencil, the tip of the pen. So you need a small item. I put the stick about arm's length away, and while seated, you're going to shake your head back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. So do little baby head shakes going no, and then also little baby head shakes doing yes. Next, VOR far, you're going to pick a target across the room, a light switch, an X on the wall, a very small item that you can see clearly, and you will do the same head shakes, no and yes. Number 3, VOR times 2. You're going to take your popsicle stick. That means 2 things are moving. So you have your head and the stick that are moving. And what it's going to look like is eyes always on the target, opposite head motion to hand motion. So it's back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Now, you can also complete that up and down. So up, down, up, down. So the 2 objects are moving opposite of one another. And lastly, gaze stability. I have this letter page here, and you're going to read 1 letter at a time while moving that head the 2 cycles per second, or up to 240 beats per minute. So that looks like this. So A, K, O, P, T, H. Quick example. So those are the 4 foundation exercises that I prescribe for vestibular therapy when someone needs gaze stability. VOR near, far, the letter sheet, and VOR times 2. So when it comes to gaze stability exercises and getting the results that you want, meaning you don't want to be dizzy when you walk outside or go into a crowd or take a hike in the park, you're going to have to push your exercises to the next level. If you are sitting doing your VOR exercises for 4 to 6 weeks, you are not going to feel less dizzy when you walk outside, for example. I always tell my clients that you want to match the exercise to what you're having difficulties doing. Now, if someone has dizziness in seated, we will start our exercises in seated. But if you're only having dizziness when you walk outside, we are eventually going to progress to walking outside doing our exercises. So the progression looks a little something like this. Depending on how severe your symptoms are or how fresh, you can do your gaze stability exercises lying down. Next would be seated. After that, we would progress to standing with legs apart and then legs together. We would progress to then foam pad or unsteady surface. Lastly, we would progress to walking and then outdoors. Now, in between those progressions, you want to think about going from a blank background to a busier background and busier environment. So when we're first starting our exercises, because these are all somewhat provoking, and vestibular therapy is meant to only provoke you a little, like 1 to 2, maybe 3 points on a 0 to 10 scale, and then they should quickly abate. So when we start therapy, you may be in a room or a basement with a blank wall doing your exercises where it's very quiet, and then you want to progress to a busy environment with more busy things around and on the wall. Now, if you want to stay organized and have a little bit more detail about how to progress your gaze stability exercises, I'm going to put a link in the description for my free checklist on how to progress your gaze stability exercises. So make sure you go to the description and get yours today. Hopefully you found this valuable. Please feel free to subscribe, like, and share so I know that you want me to make more content like this. Until I see you next week, stay healthy, stay strong, and stay